English is the most widely spoken language around the world. It has variety of dialects or accents. Accent is like a pronunciation, a way that people pronounce a language. In this video, I'll be sharing most popular accents in English. So, coming up. First of all, a British accent.
Best in all sorts of things, but particularly grassroots.
British accent is one of the most prestigious accent in English. In England, most people speak their regional accent, while only 2% speak with standard forms. That is called received pronunciation, Queen's English or Oxford English or BBC English. Interestingly, there are different types of British accents in England. For example, Cockney accent, Estuary accent, Midland English, Wales English, Scottish English, and so on. Interestingly, British accent is very easier to understand. Just remember the BBC English, BBC television, BBC radio. If you hear BBC radio or if you watch BBC television, it could be very familiar to you to understand the British accent. There are a lot of resources to develop and understand your British accent. For example, you can watch British TV shows, British TV channel, British movies and British reality shows like Britain Got Talent. If you do that, you can easily understand the British accent and develop your listening skills. Keep practicing on a standard British accent. Now, let's talk about American accent.
High-quality early education is one of the best investments we can make.
American accent is one of the most popular accent nowadays around the world. It is worth mentioning that American accent is older than UK accent. It is spoken by a variety of people across the globe. There are different types of American accents. For example, Southern accent, Midland accent, Texas accent, Boston accent. So in this case, practice on North American accent like English of CNN or CBS News, Midwest or California. I think your American accent will be most easiest if you just watch American movies, TV shows, American TV channel like CNN, CBS, Fox News or American Got Talent or something like that. If you don't understand American accent, you can listen to American podcast or watch TV shows like most popular TV shows, Friends, The Big Bang Theory, Criminal Minds, as well as most popular Game of Thrones. You may also find a lot of American movies, Hollywood movies over the internet or in Google. Now, let's talk about Australian accent.
Wales, the state government, is making those payments available right across the state.
Australian accent is famous for its vowel sounds. Basically, there is absence of a strong R sound in Australian accent and use intonation at the end of the sentence. There are three types of Australian accent. For example, general Australian accent, bored Australian accent, and cultivated Australian accent. General Australian accent like Sydney. Just remember the popular actor of Australia, how Hugh Jackman speaks. To develop and understand your Australian accent, you can watch ABC News, you can watch Australian TV series, Australian broadcast and Australian movies. Now, let's talk about some popular TV shows of Australia. You can watch some popular Australian TV shows like Clever Man, Offspring, The Secret City, and you can develop your Australian accent. If you just watch on these TV shows, you can easily understand the Australian accent. Now let's talk about Canadian accent.
Pandemic has changed our daily lives, taught us hard lessons, and kept us apart.
It is worth mentioning that Canadian accent is very similar to the general American accent, like Mideastern accent of America, while there are some different unique characteristics in Canadian accent. Just remember the accent of CTV, Canadian television, how they speak. To develop your Canadian accent, you may watch Canadian movies, Canadian TV channel or Canadian TV shows. You also can listen to Canadian radio like CBC or Canadian podcast. I think you can develop your Canadian English accent very easily if you just spend particular times. It is noticed that Canadian accent is not that much difficult like Australian or Kiwi accent. It could be standard Canadian accent like the accent is used in Vancouver or in Toronto. Let's talk about some popular Canadian TV shows like Annie, Heartland, The Good Doctor. The Good Doctor is most watched TV show in Canada. So you can watch Annie, Heartland or The Good Doctor. Finally, Kiwi accent,
which reduces risk of transmission. Ultimately, we do want to...
Let's talk about Kiwi accent. Kiwi accent is rated most attractive and prestigious forms of English outside of UK. Kiwi accent is accent of New Zealander. Most importantly, Kiwi accent, urban New Zealander accent, not accent of rural people of New Zealand. The accent is used in Auckland. Interestingly, Kiwi accent is very closer to Australian accent. If you understand Australian accent, you can easily understand the Kiwi accent. So, the question is how you can develop your Kiwi accent. Very simple. If you just watch New Zealand TV channel or TV shows as well as movies of New Zealand, you can easily develop your Kiwi accent. Now let's talk about some popular TV shows of New Zealand. For example, Outrageous, Fortune, Glitch, Hercules, The Legendary Journey.
To these gangs will invest in all sorts of
High quality early education is one of the
Government is making those payments.
Taught us hard lessons and kept...
which reduces risk of transmission.
I think you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, give a thumbs up. If you are new here, don't forget to subscribe on my channel to obtain upcoming all videos. Have a happy pronunciation. Have a happy learning. Thanks for watching. Bye.